I'm not like Dave Rubin, a giant sellout fraud
Wow.
who changed all of his positions and is totally useless and it shouldn't even be on here. He's just a waste of space.
What?
Piers, it's barely worth responding to this ridiculous buffoon who's the joke of the industry, but I will say this, Cenk, I haven't spoken to you in 10 years. I haven't spoken to you in 10 years.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and back to a brand new video. So in today's video, as you saw from the intro, we are going to go over one of the most recent Piers Morgan segments that I found to be probably the most entertaining in a very long time, and one that really spoke to me personally as somebody who used to identify as a leftist. So in this clip, we're gonna watch as Dave Rubin, a now conservative commentator who used to be left-wing, battles Cenk, who was a host on the Young Turks, a very progressive left-leaning program. And they used to be friends, they used to get along, they used to work together, and then Dave Rubin woke up, took the red pill, left the left for good, became a free-thinking person, and Cenk lost his ever-loving mind, along with Anna Kasparian. The plot twist, though, is that Anna was recently on Piers Morgan's show, in which she sort of, I guess, hinted to admitting that maybe she was wrong about Dave Rubin now that she herself is going through her own red pill process. So without further ado, let's watch some clips, some of my favorite clips from this segment, and then we can discuss. Roll it.
Dave Rubin, creator and host of the Rubin Report. I want to play two clips. One, this is for those who may be coming cold to this. One is a sort of mashup of some of the things she said about you before. Then I'm going to play a clip of what she said on this show 2 weeks ago. So let's watch the two things.
He was lazy when he worked here. He's lazy now with his ridiculous show where he proves time and time again that he doesn't know anything. He has no political identity. He is not an honest actor. He is not an intellectual. He is a fraud. But if you are someone who considers yourself libertarian, consider the fact that Dave Rubin is a public figure who represents you, and he doesn't actually genuinely believe in your ideology. And he's going around the country embarrassing you.
You need to at least know your shit and know how to back up your argument. Even if it's like a BS argument, you need to have an argument. Yeah. And he doesn't even do the legwork to be a grifter, right?
Look, I don't know, maybe I was wrong about Dave Rubin, but I just felt that he, first of all, after he left TYT, he did lie about us, and that bothered me because we were still friends, and I didn't understand what was going on. He did leave on good terms, so it was weird. And, you know, he kept saying that he was this classical liberal, but had trouble defining what that meant and had trouble reinforcing or at least backing up some of the claims that he was making about, you know, his newfound identity.
I think she's a little confused and perhaps was lied to by her employers about some of my behaviors or something like that. But I love the idea of anyone going through their own political evolution. You know, one of the things is that people go through it often in varying speeds. So I always say some people swallow the red pill and some people snort it, right? Some people just wake up overnight and they fully see it. I think one of the things that you have to do when you wake up is realize that many people have gone through this before you and that you might have wronged some people on the way there. So I was very glad to hear her say that she might have been wrong about Dave Rubin. Look, all it takes, honestly, like I know you know this, Piers, you've been in this game longer than me. You don't get any apologies in this business, and I don't like making things really about myself in that sense. But genuinely, if there was a mea culpa there or just a simple apology, maybe I didn't see things right about you, Dave, or whatever, I would gladly welcome anyone. And I don't mean to make this about her. If you're waking up to the ideas of liberty and limited government, especially post-COVID and seeing what this ridiculous Democratic Party has become, and you want to agree to disagree and dive into the ideas and have that battle, I will do that with absolutely anybody. So look, an apology probably, I would say, would be warranted, but I don't sit there and wait for it. And I think there are much bigger forces at play here than just the interpersonal battle of two people.
Out of interest, I mean, if I could make it happen, would you debate her?
Yes.
On Uncensored?
Yeah, 100. I said that on my show after we played that clip. If she, I'd be happy to do it with her live, just the two of us in studio. If you want to be the host or moderator, I'll do it under any condition, because again, I think there's something, I think it now represents something that could be unbelievably good for America.
Yeah.
Progressives who have called everybody racists and bigots and impugn motives. I mean, people just watch that compilation right there. Always going after people in the worst nature. If you've now woke up, and from what I understand, I've seen some of her tweets, she's now being attacked the same way she attacked me. So I would say, much like Bruce Willis said in Die Hard, welcome to the party, pal. But we can be on the same side.
So now it is Cenk's turn to respond to what Dave Rubin just said, as well as address what Anna Kasparian said in her, I guess, evolution from absolutely hating Dave Rubin after he left the Young Turks and became a free-thinking person, to now evolving herself and realizing, maybe I was judgmental and I made some mistakes. Will Cenk learn from that? Something tells me no, but let's watch anyway.
Yeah, there's absolutely no chance of that. I'm not like Dave Rubin, a giant sellout fraud
Wow.
who changed all of his positions and is totally useless, and it shouldn't even be on here. He's just a waste of space.
Wow. Really? After what all Dave said about coming together?
Yeah. Yeah, no, got no interest in coming together with utter frauds like Dave Rubin. So, brother, you telling me that when you were on the Young Turks, you were Mr. Progressive and you agreed with us 100%. Now all of a sudden you agree with Trump 100%. You're not saying something nuanced like we are. Hey, you know, when the guy gets shot at and he puts his fist up, that's courageous. When he does the McDonald's photo op and it works fine, no problem, right? If he wants to cut the Pentagon, great. Those are progressive positions. Anti-corruption, progressive position. Anti-war, progressive position. But you change all of your ideology overnight and you expect us to believe that that's real? I don't think it's real at all. And I want an apology from you for all the crazy, outrageous lies that you told about the Young Turks. When is that going to happen, huh? Wow. And when are you going to admit that you changed all your positions for money? Okay. Well, what position do you still have that's in any way a so-called classic liberal? You fraud,
Dave.
I don't know why I thought Cenk maybe would have, you know, the Christmas spirit, but Scrooge, not so much. So, yeah, he's angry. He's very, very angry. And what's funny is that Cenk is doing what most leftists do when they can't really combat or understand why somebody will start changing their views and start having more of an evolved perspective, right? Immediately, it's personal attacks, it's you have no character, you lack integrity, you're a horrible person, let's throw in you're a Hitler lover, you're every phobia that there is. I mean, I've heard it all myself. And by the way, I have a full video explaining why I left the left that I uploaded last year that went viral. And I'll have it up here somewhere where you guys can watch if you want to know my personal story and what I went through when I took the red pill, essentially, and left the left for good. But I had to deal with people like Cenk Uygur who spewed nothing but venom towards me, attacked my character, and pretty much couldn't understand why somebody would change their perspective, as if it's unheard of for somebody to have a completely different view as they evolve as a person. Like, it is possible. And the reason why I know this is because it happened to me. I was somebody who was very left-leaning, who bought all of the stupid woke garbage back in the day. I was the idiot that posted the black square after George Floyd died. Like, I was that person that jumped on the bandwagons when I was still drinking the blue Kool-Aid, until I woke up and I realized how stupid I was, how ignorant I was, and how uninformed I was. And when I became more informed, guess what? My perspective changed completely. It happens. It's real. It's not grifting. It's actually a thing that happens when you evolve as a person, which clearly Cenk has not done. But let's hear what Dave Rubin has to say in response.
Piers, it's barely worth responding to this ridiculous buffoon who's the joke of the industry. I will say this, Cenk, I haven't spoken to you in 10 years.
Even right when you're thinking you're a total fraud.
I don't think he's a
Yeah,
fraud
the
or a
puppy
joke.
that
I think
they
Dave
have.
Rubin is, for what it's worth, I think Dave Rubin is one of the most influential and significant voices out there right now. And I
appreciate
admire
that.
his honesty
With
about the
right-wing or
journey he's been
left-wing,
on, Cenk.
none.
Here,
He's a
Piers, I
universal
appreciate
joke.
that, but you know the thing is, what Cenk just proved is exactly what everyone in America, and I would say all over the world, is getting over. Nobody wants what he just offered up there. Not only does no one believe it, and he had it prepackaged and ready to go, and it's complete drivel. Yes, I sold out. Like, it's so nonsensical. Again, Cenk, I'll gladly send you a signed copy of the book, and you can read all of my thoughts. And if you're anti-corruption and you're anti-war, you should be on the Trump train. But your endless hatred, the division that you sow, calling everyone racist and white supremacists, all of that stuff, it's why you're not respected. But I don't mean to get into the personal side of that. I'm talking about now something that culturally has shifted, and everyone can see the grift that you're up to, trying to sort of dance with the thing. But it's just not necessary, and I don't think that many people will buy it.
So when you have people like Dave Rubin switch all of their positions, what happens is when you go to do nuance and you say, hey guys, hold on, let me explain, hold on. Yeah. Hey, go pleasure Trump again. Go pleasure Trump again.
Do you know that
he goes from Bernie to Trump and pretends. Come on, brother. Come on, brother.
I tell people what I believe
what
in,
do
and
you
I'm
believe in? You
upfront and
believed in
honest
something
about
yesterday.
it.
You don't believe in anything today.
Yeah,
Cenk is losing his ever-loving mind. And I love it. I freaking love it. Cenk just can't comprehend how somebody could change their perspective once they gain new knowledge on things that they once were blind to. It happens. Exhibit A. Exhibit freaking A. But you know, it's just a common theme that when you are a free-thinking person, you are not allowed to no longer sit at the cool table, so to speak. Perfect example of this is commentator Stephen Smith, who is a very left-leaning progressive Democrat who is a sports commentator, but also, you know, puts his hat in there when it comes to politics. And recently, Piers showed a clip of what Stephen has gone through because he committed the sin of questioning the left. Watch this.
No surprises. You're just continuing to piss me off. Why? Because every time I make a comment that's critical of the Democratic Party or the left, I get accused of being a pundit for the right. I voiced my concerns about Joe Biden and his ability to serve as second term as president. Then Biden stepped on the debate stage in late June and revealed what many suspected. He embarrassed himself. The White House and the Democrats eventually switched to Vice President Kamala Harris when he stepped away. I pointed out my concerns with the campaign and the Democratic Party along the way, and many of you wanted to accuse me of being a voice for the right.
Stephen, welcome to my world. Now let's listen to Amala Ekinobi, who I absolutely love. She's somebody who, when I first started to wake up from the left, I used to watch her videos, and she actually helped me gain a better perspective on the transition that I was going through. Not transition as in gender, you know what I mean. But my political transition, watching people like her really helped me recognize what was happening within me, my change, and it really helped me gain a better perspective. So I absolutely love Amala. I watch her videos and she's amazing. And this is what she had to say on the show during this segment.
And I think this is the big part of why they lost this past election. And it's this sort of dogmatic fervor that they have for everybody to toe every single part of the ideology that they represent. And I had a very similar experience. I used to be an extremely radical leftist. I was working for a left-leaning organization, organizing students to work on all of these different woke campaigns that were circulating at the time. And as soon as I started to question the narrative or question the fabric of the ideology I was pushing, I was immediately, thrust out into the open to sort of explore these ideas and figure out maybe I'm on the wrong side here, because I was with a group of people that were claiming to be tolerant, but as soon as you have an ounce of skepticism, they are ready to push you aside and label you as far right. And I think much to their dismay, what this is going to create is a group of people that feel so isolated that they are willing to indulge in right-leaning ideology, what they would characterize as far right, but at this point is just, reasonable common sense. And as they are abandoned by their side, they're going to look to others and they're going to be accepted because we are able to explore. We are actually promoting skepticism.
I want to echo what a lot of you guys already said. This past week has been harrowing for me. This Saturday, I went on Fox and Friends and I said that Democrats have a stench of loser hanging over them.
Yeah.
As soon as I said that, there were boycott campaigns against me, unblock, unfollow campaigns. I lost 40,000 followers.
Really?
In 4 days. People have called me the W word. I don't know what we're allowed to say, but you can fill in the blank.
We're
They've called me the
uncensored. No,
W
say it.
word.
Say it. Say what the word was.
Am I allowed to?
Yeah.
Well, they called me a whore. They called me the C word. They asked for me to
Disgusting.
be deported. And you can just search for my name in those terms on X and you'll see a bunch of them. So, all these so-called Democrats, the party of inclusion, the party of diversity, masks off. And it's even worse because they pretend to occupy the moral high ground. With Democrats, they pretend to be, so loving and caring and embracing of diversity. But all of a sudden, when I dare to utter any criticisms of the goddess, Kamala Harris, I get ostracized. Me, after having raised tens of millions of dollars for the party. And I'm being called a grifter when all along, all these years, I've said on TV, I've said to the press, I'm a conservative Democrat. This is not a switch for me. This is just me. This is who I've always been.
Yeah.
And also, my donors are pissed. They raised $2.5 billion across Super PAC in the campaign. It's my responsibility. It's my duty of care to ask what the hell happened with that money? Why did we spend it? Why did we spend millions of dollars on five-star hotels for campaign staffers? Why did we spend $500,000 essentially bribing Al Sharpton moments before he interviewed Kamala? These are legitimate questions, but no, in the cult, you can't ask questions.
Yeah.
And leaving the Democratic Party or even questioning the Democratic Party is like leaving a cult. It's terrifying.
So that was Lindy Lee, who was the DNC finance member. She helped raise millions of dollars for Kamala Harris during this last campaign. And because she started to question the Democratic Party and where the finances went for her campaign and why in the world they're in debt now, and she wants answers, she now is the enemy of the people, according to the Democratic Party, who are now calling her names, attacking her, doxing her, trying to get her banned on all social media platforms, accusing her of being a Chinese communist spy. Meanwhile, her great-grandfather actually was killed by the Chinese Communist Party decades ago. I mean, this is, again, what we see time and time again, right? You ask questions, you get ousted, you get attacked. And like she said, it is a cult. It is like a freaking cult. I've said this a million times before. The Democrat Party, in my opinion, has become such a cultist party where you can't ask any questions. They want you to isolate yourself from your families, i.e. this holiday season after Donald Trump won. What did we hear from Democrats? Don't have Thanksgiving dinners with your family. Isolate from them. Block them. If you're married to a Trump supporter, divorce him. If you have a mom or dad who are Trump supporters, cut them out your lives. These are the things that the Democrat Party is preaching to their congregation, and it is cult-like, because the moment you say, I have a question, I don't agree, I'm not going to do that, suddenly, like Lindy Lee and every other person on the panel, with the exception of Cenk, you get ousted, you get booted out, you get attacked.
Immediately she raises criticism, legitimate, and in my view, entirely correct criticism of the party. She is abused in that kind of horribly misogynistic and disgusting manner. What does that tell you about where we are?
Sure. Well, I would say, Piers, we have a living, breathing example of that happening on this panel right now, which is that what she just illustrated there is a bunch of attacks on her character and her behavior and saying awful things, and you can describe them as misogynistic and all those things. Look at everything that Cenk just said to me. These are just attacks, not on my beliefs, but on my character, which, again, he couldn't illustrate one thing that I say that I don't believe. I came out, I woke up very early to the excesses of the left, what we now know as wokeness. I came out against identity politics, and I wanted to return America to what it was founded on, which was individual liberty and judging everyone by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. The progressive movement is wildly attached to something that brings everyone back to ancient hatred. So when you leave the left, as both of the ladies just pointed out, you will get unending hatred, usually having nothing to do with what you believe or you say. And again, I would just have anyone rewind the video and listen to the nonsense that Cenk said about me to prove that it still exists.
The point Dave Rubin is making is, why shouldn't he be allowed to go on an evolution of his views? And why does that mean that right now you can say to him, as you did, you don't believe anything you're saying or believe now, when actually it's completely possible that he 100% believes everything he now says because he's changed his mind? Why can't he do that? And why don't you believe him?
I think that the left is scarred by people like Dave Rubin, who had a complete change. For example, Tulsi Gabbard goes from total progressive to total right-winger.
Hold up. Don't come for my girl, Tulsi Gabbard, all right? Don't do it, Cenk. Don't freaking do it. But listen to what Dave Smith says in response to Cenk regarding Tulsi and why she may have changed her perspective. And what he says is so freaking spot on. Watch this.
You know, Tulsi Gabbard, again, Jake, I get your point. I mean, she has changed on several of her views, but might that have something to do with the fact that when she stood up and criticized the war in Iraq, the blood-soaked monster who sent her there called her a traitor to her country for that? And so when you have that type of dynamic and you get viciously smeared in that way, what tends to happen is people go to a different group and they start listening to that other group. And maybe they get compelled by some of the arguments.
I mean, where's the lie? Where's it at? He's absolutely freaking correct. When Tulsi Gabbard started asking questions and didn't drink the blue Kool-Aid fully, suddenly she was a Russian spy. Suddenly she was a traitor to this country. This is a woman who served her country in Iraq and Afghanistan, who fought in war, who saw people dying in front of her, which is why she's so anti-war today, because she knows the effects of useless and baseless wars that we've gotten ourselves into. And because she isn't a warmonger, because she wants peace, because she's willing to sit with the other side in different countries and have conversations, she suddenly is a traitor to this country. And you're asking yourself, Cenk, why she switched sides, why she no longer wants to associate herself with Democrats and that perspective any longer? Maybe it's because people on the right actually listen to her, actually conversate with her, actually respect her. In fact, this next point by Dave Rubin is so spot on as well, where he talks about the difference between the left and their intolerance versus the right, and how welcoming they are to people like myself who once were on the left.
But what you will consistently find, what I know my good friend Amala has found over the years, is that as you wake up and you leave the progressive plantation, what you will find is people on the right that you're told are evil and scary, like Dennis Prager and Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly and all these people, that you may not agree with them on everything, but they will break bread with you. They will be generous of time and spirit, and you will consistently find that. And there's almost no version of that on the left. That is just simply true. And again, there's a living, breathing example of it right here.
You know, a lot of people say, I didn't leave the left left me. And you're sort of standing in your positions and watching as people become more and more extreme. And for me, farther away from the truth and reality. Now, you couple that with this feeling of being lied to, in that you've dedicated yourself to this ideology. You've worked to promote these ideas, and then you feel abandoned by this group. So we're building an equation here. On top of that, we have the other things that our panelists have mentioned, the smear campaigns, the attack that you get on the other end of even just trying to raise your hand and get a question in is just absolutely insane. And then you mix in a little bit of the acceptance that you get from the other side as soon as you're willing to hear them out and maybe accept some of their ideas. And you have a wicked combination for somebody really steering themselves in the complete opposite direction when it comes to their ideology.
And just like that, they just described me. This video that I watched was absolutely amazing. I'm going to have a full link in my description where you can watch the full entire segment because it is freaking amazing. The breakdown was great. And watching Cenk melt on the panel as everyone pretty much put him in his place and he had nothing to say other than, yeah, well worth it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this video. Do you think people are capable of change? And if that change is drastic, is it genuine or are they just grifting? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoy my content, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit my notification bell so you know when I post a brand new video. Until next time, peace.